I don't focus on booking appointments. I increase my intention into the actions that I would need to take as someone that is booked out steadily throughout slow season. So I reward myself for taking the actions that would get me in front of clients, that would build that trust, that would create those conversations and ultimately book those appointments. Welcome to the Artful Dollar podcast, where we are closing the wealth gap one artist at a time. That's my goal, is to bring to you the business, marketing, financial education that most artists, and let's be honest, most people do not get when they go to normal school. And so I want this podcast to be a resource, obviously for tattooers, because that's my background, but really for any artists. And particularly this episode is going to be about seasonal business, slow season. What do we do during slow season? So if you're a tattooer and you're listening to this will particularly resonate for you, but I know we have listeners that are outside of the tattoo industry, and I think this is going to be valuable for everyone. So first of all, I want you to consider that all marketing really can be broken down into two categories. There is the physical, tangible approach to marketing, and then there is the mental approach and the mental game. And it really is 10% strategy, 90% mindset. I've found that to be true in my experience in my life dealing with challenges, obstacles. I can either view them as a problem or I can view them as an opportunity. And so looking at slow season from the perspective of, oh no, like we're doomed and I guess I'm going to have to eat ramen all winter, like that is viewing it like a problem. But there is so much value that slow season has to offer, particularly in the amount of time that you might have to learn a new skill around marketing your business. Obviously, a lot of tattooers, they call it drawing season, right? We're focusing on flash sheets, but in today's market, just making more flash doesn't really stand out from the crowd, right? Tattooing is now clearly in a saturated market, more so than ever. We obviously had a lot of tattooers entering the market in 2020 and 2021. Those tattooers are now 2-3 year old tatter tots, right? We need to learn how to stand out in that market. We can blame and point fingers, but at the end of the day, blaming, bitching, and moaning doesn't pay the bills. So I want to bring to you both the mental game, what you can do to strengthen your mindset around your marketing, around your business, and really view yourself as an entrepreneur. I think a lot of artists in general view themselves as craftsmen, as craftspeople, but if you make a living or you aspire to make a living from selling your art, whatever way, shape, or form that is, you want to start looking at yourself like a business. And so shifting into that business mindset, what does a business do during slower seasons, during saturated markets? So we're going to talk about that both mentally and tangibly. I'm going to give you some actions. So by the end of this, you should know exactly what to do with slow season, exactly what to do with any time that you have or you're sitting around, maybe waiting for walk-ins to come into the shop or waiting for someone to email you or shoot you a DM. You're not going to have a shortage of things. And I hope you come back to this podcast during the next couple months to make sure that you're staying busy, taking actions to improve your situation. So first of all, speaking of mindset, everyone I talk to, and I talk to a lot of tattooers, they all are blaming the fact that we're in a recession for things slowing down. I've heard this hundreds of times. I want you, wherever you're at, United States or outside the United States, I want you to Google, are we in a recession right now? I know things are a little bit different around the world, but the perception of how the economy is doing right now is very different than how the economy is actually doing. So it's November 1st of 2024. I want you to Google right now, is the United States, is Europe in a recession? And tell me what you find. Because when I do it right now, it's telling me that we are not in a recession. Europe is recently exiting a mild recession. The United States has not entered into a recession. The GDP growth of the economy has been growing. People are spending money on shit they don't need. It is slowing, but that doesn't mean we've entered into a recession. And yet so many tattooers are blaming mentally. Their mindset is that we are in a recession. And so that just kind of shows you the power that your perspective has over your reality, is that people are literally acting and thinking and believing that we're in a recession when the numbers, the data the truth, the what's so about our financial situation doesn't reflect the feelings, the experience that we're having. Now, I know that a lot of tattooers are experiencing things slowing down for them. The tattoo industry has become more saturated, but blaming the economy is just not accurate. And honestly, blaming anything other than yourself isn't useful. Now, I don't want you to beat yourself up, but I say this all the time in my course. Where you place the blame is where you place the power. And so if we blame the economy, if we blame inflation, if we blame saturation, if we blame tattoo schools or apprentices or whatever we want to point blame at, all you're doing, it's not right or wrong, good or bad. I don't care about right, wrong, good or bad. All I care about is what's actually serving you. And so where you place the blame is where you place the power. So you're handing your power over to situations or circumstances that do not serve you. So the only place you can point the finger to get that power back is to blame yourself and say, all right, I'm responsible for my situation. What can I do to improve my circumstances, to improve my situation, to move the needle in the direction I want it to go? That's all you should be concerned with. Another thing that I say a lot on this podcast is there are no problems. There are only opportunities. So I have lived through a dozen or more slow seasons in my tattoo career. I have survived every single one of those slow seasons, no matter how slow it got. And honestly, for a lot of my tattoo career, I didn't really know a lot about marketing. I used the time to draw, but something that I did that I highly recommend you do is use the time to read books that will provide value for you and your business to help you grow. That was where I started to develop my interest in business, in marketing, understanding the things that I can do to better my situation. Because if I'm always busy tattooing nonstop and I don't have that breathing room to reflect and observe and learn what I can do to improve, then I never learn, I never grow. You learn more from times that are difficult than you do from times that are easy. And so slow season has a massive opportunity for you to grow. I like to refer to it as grow season. So from here on out, I think you should only look at any time of year where your business starts to slow down as a time where you actually plant the seeds for you, your life, your business to grow. And the best way that you can do that, and the way that I started to do that, was to read books. I read a lot of books, and honestly, there's two areas that I recommend you read, and this is where I read most of my literature, is either going to be in the business, finance, marketing section, or in the personal and professional growth development mindset, even spiritual growth section. So I'd say if you want to improve your marketing, there are three authors that you should definitely read. One is Seth Godin. He wrote a book called This is Marketing. And I highly recommend it. It's great for beginners or people that have been in business and marketing for a while. It's, I'd say, one of the most tried and true books to teach you the basic principles of marketing. Anyone who reads it is going to be able to improve their approach to marketing just from that one book. Also, anything by Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V on Instagram. His social media presence is also really powerful and educational, but he has a really brilliant approach to marketing. He's wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook, and it's about how you should be giving value before you ask from your clients. And so that's a great approach to social media. If you notice, my approach to social media is I give a ton of value. I want to give value in my podcast, on my content, everywhere. I want to make sure that I'm giving before I ever ask you for anything. So anyone that's ever worked with me, the hundreds of tattoo artists and other creative entrepreneurs that I've worked with around the world, I made sure to give them value before I ever said, hey, let's talk about working together. The same thing goes for any business. And Gary Vee started out in his family's wine company, that they had a local business, small wine business they had, I believe, out in New Jersey. And he was able to help them grow their business. And a lot of what he did to grow that local business, local like a tattoo business, was figuring out how can they provide as much value as possible to their potential clients before they said, hey, you should come and work with us. You should come book an appointment, right? So check out Gary Vee. And then Donald Miller wrote a book called Story Brand. And that's going to give you a better sense of what brand really is. Because at the end of the day, what makes you stand out of the crowd of saturated tattoo artists out there is your story, the story behind your work, the story behind why you became a tattoo artist, what you're passionate about, and stories transfer emotion. And that's what marketing is at its core, is it is transferring the emotion from you, your business, to your potential clients. I had a client in Australia, a tattooer, that started to make content. He was super uncomfortable about it in the beginning, but he would actually bring his cats into the content that he made. And just by inviting his followers into his life, and who doesn't love seeing a cute cat, they started to build that resonance, that connection. And it sort of started to tell that story of who this tattoo artist is beyond just his work. Now, his work was phenomenal, but it wasn't until he started to share more of himself. And he was shy. He felt a little bit uncomfortable. And it started to tell this story, this brand of who this person is. All of a sudden, the cats became a part of his brand. He did a lot of animal tattoos, so that kind of worked in, and he would even work the cats into picking out content. He would even work the cats into picking out flash sheets in some of his content. So he'd create these flash sheets, and then he'd have the cats pick out, what your next tattoo should be. And it just became like a fun thing, but you never really discover what your story is that you want to tell to your clients that resonates with them, that's cute and fun and educational and valuable. Jab, 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 bringing that value to people with your content that then creates that connection. And by understanding the concepts behind storytelling, behind bringing value, behind the principles of marketing, and that's what these books really offer. And so I highly recommend this slow season. If you're looking for something to do and you don't know what you can do to book more appointments, read a book. Read a motherfucking book. The other thing that I recommend are books on mindset, and two of my favorite authors are Joe Dispenza. Becoming Superhuman is a book that he wrote that I have implemented in my meditation practice, in my mantra practice. When I find that my mind is, shifting towards building a reality from my thoughts that is more negative leaning, or I'm focusing heavily on my problems rather than the opportunities that are right in front of me, because it's really the same thing. The work that Joe Dispenza teaches has really helped me out with that. And then my absolute favorite book in the world is The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. That book, I've probably read it over 3 times now, maybe 3.5. I'll jump in here and there, and I'll listen to a lot of these on audiobook. So if you don't want to read the physical thing, try the audiobook. I'm going to get into some practical, tangible stuff in a second, so hang on. But I really do believe that working on your mindset is 90% of what's going to get you to grow during slow season. So if you're waiting around for the end where I get into the practical, tangible stuff of what you can do, just hang on. I'm going to get into it. But my absolute favorite book that I recommend to everyone is The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. It's a book that will have you understand the bigger picture outside of your specific actions that you're taking. And one of my mantras or mottos or whatever is high intention, low attachment. So I'm highly intentional with my actions, but I surrender. I let go of the attachment to the outcome, to the results. So high intention, low attachment. That is the best way to approach any area of your life, particularly your business and your marketing. And so those are just some great books that you can use during slow season. You should never not know what to do. If you're ever wondering, what the hell should I do? Just read a book. Read a motherfucking book. So apparently 88% of listeners have not left a review or subscribed. And I'm going to get right back to the podcast in just a second. But if you have found this episode helpful and you think that other people would benefit from listening, then all I ask in return is please just leave a quick review and subscribe. It'll take just 1 minute, and it might help other tattooers and other artists find this podcast and help them out. So please, it would mean the world to me, and it might actually make a difference for someone else. Thanks. The other thing you can do is get on YouTube and educate yourself on marketing. I have learned so much about all types of topics on YouTube. I'm actually going to be producing a bunch of new YouTube content for marketing specific, for tattoo artists, marketing specific content. So websites, ads, social media. I actually have a video coming out in a couple weeks that I've been working on how to optimize your profile and really utilize the tool, focus and hone in how to use the tool that social media is for growing your tattoo business. So I know I've done other videos that are broader. This is going to focus just on one specific thing. And I want to break down, email marketing, website marketing, copywriting, these tools that tattooers and honestly anyone can use to grow their business. So get on YouTube and check out the other videos that I'm going to be posting in the next couple weeks. If you're listening to this in November, if it's later on down, I'll probably have a couple of them out pretty soon. So that's what you can do with your time to work on your mindset, your mental game. You can educate yourself, you can learn more. But what do you actually practically, tangibly do to book more appointments? And so I have a very counterintuitive approach to marketing, but I find that the best strategies in marketing are very counterintuitive. If it was very intuitive, you would intuitively know what to do and you'd be doing it and it'd be working, right? So it must be the case that if you're struggling with marketing, what is intuitive to you isn't working, your marketing isn't working, and taking a less intuitive approach is actually going to get you further. So this is what I mean. I don't focus on booking appointments. I lower my attachment to booking appointments. I increase my intention into the actions that I would need to take as someone that is booked out steadily throughout slow season. So I reward myself for taking the actions that would get me in front of clients, that would build that trust, that would create those conversations and ultimately book those appointments. So maybe some of you, if you've worked with me before, you're obviously aware of the Lighthouse game. If you've never worked with me or heard of the Lighthouse game, I look at marketing as your job is to do two things, right? Your job is to shine brightly and to shine regularly like a lighthouse, right? If a lighthouse shined once in a while and it wasn't that bright, probably wouldn't be doing its job very well, right? And your potential clients are those boats out in the ocean that need to know where land is in case they needed you or they just need to orient themselves. And your light needs to shine brightly and regularly so that you can attract the right clients and they know where you are when they're ready. So I focus on the actions that shine my light. I don't focus on what do I need to do. When you're dropping a post on Instagram saying, hey, I had a cancellation tomorrow or I have availability tomorrow, who wants to come in? That's focusing on getting a tattoo appointment. But you didn't focus on the things that you need to do to consistently stay booked out. And when you do those things, you never need to post, hey, I have availability tomorrow. In fact, you're so relieved when you get a cancellation because you've been busting your ass, either marketing yourself or tattooing, that when a cancellation happens, you're like, you know what? I'm going to take a minute to breathe. And so if your job is to tattoo or whatever your job is, I don't care if you're a leather worker or a plumber, right? You're either doing the thing, the tattooing, you're either tattooing or drawing, or you're marketing and you're attracting clients. That's it. You're doing those two things. I remember back in the day, in the middle of winter, working at walk-in shops, and we would just kind of sit on our ass in the cold, watching movies. And I remember thinking this is a waste of fucking time. And that was also during the days when I was a heavy weed smoker. I was still drinking back then. This is over 11 years ago. And so we would just get stoned all the time. Just kind of just kill time. And I always thought, man, I should be doing something to get clients, but I wasn't. I wasn't taking ownership over my own career. I was relying on the shop. I was like, well, the shop should do something. I don't think any tattoo artist should rely on the shop for anything, honestly. If they're providing you a ton of clients and stuff like that, they're probably also taking a huge cut. And so at the end of the day, I just want to rely on me, myself, and I to stay booked out and to make a living. It's why I eventually started my own shop, because I was working at a lot of shops that weren't providing that, but they were taking a high percentage. And so this is how I want you to approach it. I want you to make a marketing schedule. I want you to build a habit that focuses around taking the actions that would turn into clients. That's essentially what the Lighthouse game is. And so I've broken it down into daily, weekly, and monthly goals. And you can break marketing itself down into 5 categories that are how new clients would potentially find out about you. Those 5 categories are local marketing, social media marketing, website, SEO, website marketing, referrals, and paid ads. And now paid ads can be a little bit dangerous because I talk to a lot of tattooers that are telling me they're using paid ads. Some of them have even hired agencies to run paid ads for them. And they're telling me that they're not seeing really great results. And the reason is because paid ads are not a replacement for organic marketing. Organic marketing meaning like the stuff you do to actually build a brand and build trust and nurture those relationships with clients. Paid marketing, organic marketing, that's how they break it up. And so you can't replace organic marketing, content marketing, local marketing, website, even like email and stuff like that, which I don't put email in the category of how people find out about you because they've already found out about you if they're receiving an email from you. Most likely you could get them on a newsletter, but I break it into those 5 categories. And so before you focus on paid ads, I want you to focus on those 4: local, social, website, and referrals. And so break down your daily, weekly, and monthly goals into what you can do to improve those areas, right? What's everything you could do? Daily, weekly, monthly action. Can you reach out to local businesses to create a partnership with them? Can you do a trade of promotion, right? They promote you, you promote them, or maybe you do a collaboration. That's a really great way to market in your local area is you're tying your business to another business that has already built trust with a local area. Maybe you do a holiday event, right? Plan these things out in advance. Get ready now. You should be getting ready in November for that slow, holiday season where everyone's kind of staying home and doing their thing. You should be planning how you're going to market for that right now. Don't react to it when it comes up on you. Maybe your daily actions are reaching out to businesses. Maybe your weekly actions are actually taking action to set up those events. And then you do one in a month. That's your daily, weekly, monthly. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to a camera. I want you to take each area. So social media marketing, for instance, daily, weekly, monthly actions you can take. Monthly actions, there aren't like huge things that you can do, but maybe you want to do a live digital event in the middle of winter to talk about how you design cover-ups. I know tattooers are like, I can't do a webinar or something like that. Yeah, you totally can. You 100% can. Or we break social media up into just content marketing and really look at it as a whole. Tattoo artists these days are starting podcasts left and right, and I love it because it's a way that you can build that trust with potential clients. You take your short form content and you send them to go listen to your podcast. You can also cut up the podcast and put it into your social media account. If you're wondering what the fuck to do and it's slow and you're like, well, shit, why don't we start a podcast at the shop? You don't even need good recording equipment these days. Done is better than perfect. I say this all the time to people I work with, especially tattooers around their marketing. Your perfectionism is crippling your marketing. I want you to take messy action. I want you to just do the damn thing. Send the fucking email. Reach out to the influencer, maybe to collaborate on something. Make the post, introduce yourself, talk to people, reach out to clients. Take the messy action. Stop waiting for things to be perfect. And that's what I love about the Lighthouse game is it incentivizes you to just take the action, and I give it points, right? I give my daily, my weekly, and my monthly actions points. So dailies are worth 1 point, weeklies are worth 5 points, and monthlies are worth 20 points. And if you do 3 dailies, 5 days a week, and you do 1 weekly per week, and you do 1 monthly per month, you will score 100 points. And so you make your whole goal with marketing not to book appointments. You make the whole goal to earn 100 points. And I promise you, if you break down your social media, your local, even like scheduling software, set up scheduling software, right? Maybe getting that dialed in and getting an email campaign is worth 20 points. Build out your own schedule so that you can create a habit around marketing so that you can stay busy. And then in November, in December, in January, in February, when things are slowing down, you can say, all right, well, did I earn my 100 points? That's all that matters. If you can say, you know what, today I did my dailies, I did my weekly, and I'm on track to do my monthly and get my 100 points this month, then you did what is required to grow your business. We have to let go of the outcome, get unattached to the results, but be highly intentional in the game that we're playing. I look at marketing as a game. I look at money as a game. And so this is what I want you to do during slow season, is play your own Lighthouse game. Obviously, if you want to play my Lighthouse game, reach out, schedule a one-on-one marketing strategy call with me. I'm happy to talk about what that could look like for you and us if we wanted to work together. But you don't need to work with me. I've invented this shit. Just like I sat down and wrote out every single action that I could possibly take to grow my business. I assigned a point system to them. Like, you can do this at home. Nothing is stopping you except for your mindset. I know you're capable of this. I believe in every single person, whether we work together or not. If you're here listening to this, I know the type of person that you are. You are a growth-oriented, high-achieving motherfucker that doesn't take shit from anybody, and you're not going to let slow season continue to dominate your life. That's who you are, to me, at least. And if I can be a mirror to reflect you back at you in this moment, then I've done my job today on this podcast. That's what I hope to do. So if you need another kick in the pants, if you need to rewind this thing and start it over again next month or whenever, please come back to this. Share this with other people that you feel like this would be helpful to. Maybe get the other artists in your shop together and say, hey, what games can we play around marketing? Maybe we can get competitive around it and see who earns the most points. Make it fun. Be silly. Take messy action. Stop taking it so seriously. Stop worrying about what other people think of you or are going to judge or whatever, and just live your fucking life. Shine your light brightly and regularly as often as possible. On that note, I am going to let you go get at it. If you need any support or anything, feel free to reach out to me anytime, and have a wonderful holiday, winter, whatever you celebrate. Go celebrate it. Take care. All right, if you found this episode helpful, one of the best ways for you to help other artists is to share this episode. Leave a review and subscribe. It helps other people find my channel, and you never know what a difference it might make for someone else. Plus, I will forever be grateful for your support, so I just want to say thank you and have a great rest of your day.